You should tell the people who we are and what our new show is.
I'm Robert Smith, and this is Jacob Goldstein, and we used to host a show called Planet Money.
And now we're back making this new podcast about the best ideas and people and businesses in history.
And some of the worst people, horrible ideas, and destructive companies in the history of business. We struggled to come up with a name, decided to call it Business History.
You know why?
Why?
Because it's a show about the history of business. Available everywhere you get your podcasts.
Hey, Garage Logic fans, I do a podcast on the Garage Logic Network that comes out every Wednesday and Friday now, twice a week. But here's an important caveat. There is zero logic available in my show, in the formal definition of logic. Of course, life is a yin and yang kind of thing. There's the logic side, and then there's the what the hell side, which needs to get its exercise. So come for the what the hell and stay for the you've got to be kidding me. Mishki, now Wednesdays and Fridays, twice a week.
This is the Weekly Scramble, a place where we chat about life over a cold one or two. It's time to belly up to the pod with Mike Fratelloni and your host, Chris Reavers.
That's right. It's time for the Weekly Scramble podcast. My name is Chris Reavers. With me, as always, his name is Mike Fratelloni. Hello, Michael.
How you doing, Reavers?
I'm doing good. We're going to do something new. You ready?
Let's do it.
Check this out for those of you listening and watching on our YouTube channel. Look at that fine video of our friends at Masters Maples and mastersmaples.com. Here's the deal. Available at all of your Fratelloni's hardware and garden stores locations. But here's the deal. The owner, Ben, our buddy, he's a proud GLer and Weekly Scramble listener, and his personal passion for maple syrup led him to creating Masters Maples 13 years ago. And from tap to table, Masters Maples brings you 100% pure maple syrup. It's a gluten-free, natural sweetener that can be used in cooking, grilling, and also glazing. But right now, for a limited time, only at mastersmaples.com, you have the gift packages. These are freaking sweet, by the way. Mm-hmm. If you go online, you can see the taster. You get the pure maple syrup, the bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup, the maple sugar. There's all sorts of different and cool and unique packages for the gift-giving season, and you have to see it for yourself because their products are absolutely amazing. There's also the bundle, the spread, the bounty, which, by the way, I might order that just for myself.
I love if you're not watching this on YouTube, you really get a great shot of the packaging.
Yeah. And so anyway, do me a favor, go to their website, mastersmaples.com, and look at all of their selected holiday gift packs because they're absolutely amazing. And you know what? It's a great Minnesota company and a great family-owned operation, and we absolutely love Ben and the entire crew at mastersmaples.com. The sweet and savory seasonings and rubs are unbelievable, but please do me a favor when you place that order. Let them know that you heard about them on the Weekly Scramble podcast. Okay.
We had some stuff happen since we last talked.
I want to start by saying this. Mm-hmm. I've tried very, very hard to not try to dive too much into the political scene, but it's unavoidable this week.
Yeah, it has to, especially in Minnesota.
Well, so the reason I want to go down this particular path right now with you is I've always labeled you as you are Mr. St. Paul.
I do enjoy St. Paul.
Born and raised, lifelong. You are all of your kids go to school and say you're Mr. St. You are exactly what the typical St. Paul resident should strive to be, and I mean that with the utmost respect. I seriously mean that.
I haven't lived more than 8 miles from where I was born.
Yes.
Yeah, my entire life.
You are Mr. St. Paul.
Thank you.
I want to know what your reaction was to Kalohi Her being elected as the new mayor of the city of St. Paul.
Is that what we're going with her name?
I thought it's
I think it's Coley.
Is it Coley?
I've heard Coley, but I don't know that. I'm just going to go with Coley. I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't know much about her, but I have read some of her background. And let me run through a couple of things for you that I think are interesting, okay? She was born in Laos in 1973, came to America. She was a Hmong refugee. She grew up in Wisconsin, Appleton, went to and attended the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Not an easy school, right? Great school. Sure. Earned her MBA from Northeastern University. She has an MBA, Reavers, and earned her ED, her doctorate in education from the University of St. Thomas.
All right.
I think that's what EDD is. ED, lowercase d, capital D. So my whole point with saying that is maybe, just maybe, when she was getting her MBA, she had to do some math classes. And she said, you know what? You can't give everything away for free. You know what? I've taken a few economics classes, and if we make it not profitable for people to build houses in St. Paul, they won't build them, which in turn will drive up the cost of housing, right?
Yep.
So she had a professional career before she was elected. She worked in finance and investments for 15 years.
Wow.
I'm cautiously optimistic that she is going to be the right gal, the right person to lead St. Paul. I don't know anything more about her than this quick Wikipedia lookup, but I like the fact that at least she was in finance.
Yeah, and I think the thing that should be, and again, this is not to dance on the grave of Melvin Carter by any means, but what he was doing wasn't working.
No.
I mean, the city of St. Paul, if there isn't an event going on at the XL Energy Center, the Grand Casino Event Center, whatever it's called now, nothing is happening. I remember leaving here on a Friday, and sometimes what I have to do is, because 35W is an absolute disaster in the afternoon leaving here, I oftentimes go through St. Paul. So I'll go through, I'll take 94 to either Snelling, or I'll take it all the way to Kellogg, and then try to take 35E southbound.
Sure.
But oftentimes, I remember one time leaving here. It was Friday at about 5:30. Okay. And I used to live on Cherokee Avenue in St. Paul when I first moved to the city. That's exactly where I lived, and I loved it. But I remember leaving here on 5:30 on an absolutely stunning summer night. I think it was last June. And there was nobody there. I drove down 7th Street and said, where in the hell is everybody? Again, there was nothing going on at the X.
Sure.
But 7th Street on a...
You can have some bars still
on a
that are open.
65, 75 degree night in the middle of summer, there was nobody there.
I was out last night. They had the state high school volleyball championship down at Excel, whatever, Grand Casino Arena, right?
Yep.
And so my daughter's playing it. Congratulations, go Cretin-Derham Hall.
Oh,
congratulations.
fantastic.
They won their first game. Tomorrow's semifinals. So we were downtown, and like Truck Yard. Remember Truck Yard where that guy got shot and all that stuff?
Yep.
That was closed. But the city, like the restaurants that were open, Casetta's and Louis upstairs and Zamboni's right on the corner there, they were kind of busy. I'd imagine it's because of the thousands of people that were at Excel. But at least those restaurants seem to make it. I still think maybe Mayor Herr will do it. Maybe she can. That's a confusing thing. Maybe she, her. No.
Her, she, her. Okay.
Okay. Maybe Mayor Herr can close down West 7th in front of Excel, Grand Casino Arena, from the saloon, right, and Zamboni's, all the way down to where Grand Avenue comes down the hill.
So where the Burger King is.
Well, not quite the Burger King. That's a block over. But where, you're coming down the hill and Grand Avenue runs right into West 7th, right there. And if they can make that a pedestrian walk around with a drink, game changing. All of a sudden, you can still have a little traffic go through there, right? But if you can walk down the sidewalk with a drink, then you could party hop from bar to bar to bar. You could have a girls' night out. You could have a bachelor party where they hit the 7 or 8 bars in that area.
Are you picturing like a mini Nashville kind of a thing?
I am picturing, well, dare I say something that good? I'm picturing a Omaha, Nebraska. Right? Because Omaha has that, and it looks good and it works.
Okay.
And we could do that, and then that would be a step above Minneapolis. We could say, hey, we don't need to do what Minneapolis does. St. Paul can win.
Let me ask you this, though. And again, I'm not, because you know way more about the city than I do. But if something like that were to take place, would the people that, like, let's say, own Casetta's, would they get mad? Because for someone like me, I want to pull up, I want to go get my Mastachati or whatever it's called. Mastacholi, and grab my breadsticks, and I want to get back in the car and get right back on the... Is that still going to be... Are we still going to be able to do that?
Well, you'd have to work some of those finer points out, but I still think just the sense of being able to be outside and walk around,
tonight.
I think that would be a lot of fun. One other thing that Mayor Herr, the new mayor, here's some of her 3 key points to her candidacy. By the way, She didn't start running till August 24th, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Or was it a little earlier than that?
It was
August
recently.
of 2025. In August, she said, I'm going to try to be mayor, and started running. That is crazy to think the time and effort other people put in, and she kind of just jumped in. So here's her few points. She wants responsive government. She stresses showing up, being present in neighborhoods across the city, and proving how the mayor's office interacts with its constituents. Okay, you're fine with that one, right? Show up, be around, we want to see your face. We like that.
Yep.
Here's number 2, addressing rising property tax, affordability in housing and rent, the downtown vitality, having a vital and fun downtown. In her campaign, she pointed out, a perceived lack of momentum under the previous administration.
Which
right?
she's 100%
She's
right.
totally right. Doesn't mean she can change it, but she says, hey, downtown needs to be vital. It's not right now. There's no vitality in downtown. Last one, and I think this is a big one. Strengthening relationships between City Hall, state legislator, and the business community. Those things are, I think, all broken links right now. And if she can do that, if she can get the business community into the legislator and City Hall and saying, hey, we need this. Like great ideas like Fratelloni's opening up West 7th so you can walk up and down West 7th. When you're going to a game, and there's what I find interesting about that West 7th area is you have 20,000 people going to Grand Casino Arena a ton of nights a year, right?
Yep.
For hockey games. Let's have them 4 hours earlier, walk around up and down, spend hundreds of dollars on that block. Great for St. Paul, great for the vibe of St. Paul, the vitality of St. Paul. So I'm cautiously optimistic that Mayor Herr is going to do it. The one thing that confuses me about her is her pronouns. She has some pronouns. And guess what her pronouns are, Reavers?
They, them?
She, her. So is it possible that you have to call her Mayor Herr, her? Or if you point to her and you say her, she says, hey, you don't just say my last name like that. It's really confusing having a pronoun she, her, when her last name is her.
Her, she, her?
Her, she, her. I don't quite know how to do it. That's why pronouns are so difficult. I'm just going to call her Mayor Herr.
I know somebody, and maybe you apply this same philosophy that is in the hiring business, and said it makes it really easy for candidates when they have their pronouns in their bio. Thank you.
Everybody does it. Everybody does it now. It's all over LinkedIn.
Let's get back to St. Paul, the vibrancy, all of that, because I think it is a good step in the right direction now, whether all of that either happens or doesn't happen. But you mentioned something interesting, and not that I watch a ton. Most of the TV that I watch is either a live sporting event with my two boys, or I watch stuff that's pre-recorded. But one thing I don't recall that much, because we know how the political ads on TV just become way too much.
Sure.
I didn't think, and again, not that I'm advocating for it to become incessant, I don't really remember being inundated with political ads this year. Do you?
No, but I don't watch a lot of regular TV anymore, right? I'm watching digital TV.
So maybe that's YouTube. What it's a product of then.
Yeah, I think maybe the algorithm's smart enough to say, this guy's watching shows about guys washing cars. Well, maybe he's not going to be.
Let me rephrase that, because, and I don't want to indict any of our friends downstairs at Channel 5 or any of the other local outlets. I do watch a lot of local newscasts, and I don't remember seeing any political ads, either for the mayor of Minneapolis, the mayor of St. Paul, some of the other races that were going on. But again, I know it was a much lighter political season this year, but you did have your two major cities up for mayor races, even to the point where on Tuesday night I walked into my normal polling place, which is the Jordan Recreational Center, and I walked in there and I said, "Well, where's the line? Well, we don't have anything this year. We literally.
Oh yeah, they didn't have anything to vote for.
We had nothing to vote for this year. So, well, all right, see you later.
Makes that easy.
Went back into my car and drove home.
You might be finding something interesting, because it looks like middle-aged, educated women were kind of the strongest voting constituent this time around, right? On the East Coast, it made a big difference. Here in Minnesota, it made a big difference. And maybe they had midday ads that were running trying to hit more women than later on in the day. I don't know that. I'm just making that up, living on old-time stereotypes.
I also wonder if it's also a product of the ad buying dollar, meaning the political machine that it is saying, well, instead of spending X amount of dollars on television revenue or radio revenue or podcast revenue, we could spend it all on social media revenue. But even like that, because I spend a lot of time on social as well, I still didn't see a lot.
Well, look at Mondami won through TikTok.
Oh, I want to get there, by the way.
But let me add one more thing about her. She's the first ever, Wait, she, her.
Wait.
Her, she.
Wait a minute,
No.
wait.
You're screwing me up.
Wait.
Yes.
I think on this show, and this is based
we can call her, yeah.
How about we call her Mayor She, Her?
Maybe she, her. Yeah, use her pronouns.
Mayor She, Her.
Mayor she, her. I like that.
Okay.
Not out of disrespect for her, because she could be great. She, her could be great.
This isn't anything disparaging whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is just saying it's Mayor She, Her.
Mayor she, her. So,
because we can't pronounce her first name.
she is the first woman mayor in the history of St. Paul, right?
Sure.
Obviously the first Hmong American mayor in St. Paul too. What I find interesting is, you know how many women we have on the city council in St. Paul?
Oh. Well,
how many men?
Wait.
Yeah.
How many seats are there?
I think there's 7.
I know the answer to this question, and the answer is 0.
We have the lowest gender diversity in all of the United States on a major city council.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
How do they identify?
I think I didn't even think of that. I think everyone identifies as a she, her, potentially.
Okay.
Potentially. But think of that, Reavers. Female mayor, which who cares? No one cares, right?
Right.
But a council that is not diverse in the least.
At all.
Ethnically diverse, right? Black, white, Hmong. I think there's an Indian woman there. I'm just going by looks, right? I think that's what it is. But how interesting that you have a little bit of ethnic diversity, or a fair amount of ethnic diversity, but 0 gender or sex diversity.
0.
That is weird. We are the largest in the top 50 large cities in the United States, St. Paul being one of them. We're the only one that has a complete and unanimous all-female council. Not even to mention now and all, with including the mayor. I don't know if there's anybody, even in small towns, that has a full female council and a female mayor.
100%.
That is really, so we're special in that case too.
Yes.
Yeah.
His name is Mike Fratelloni. My name is Chris Reavers. This is the Weekly Scramble Podcast, and we will be right back. Welcome back to the Weekly Scramble Podcast. It's Reavers, it's Fratelloni, and I want to quick mention our friends at North American Banking Company. You know what? They've been at it since 1998. When they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers, where you know your banker and they know you. And online and mobile banking are important for everyone these days. You might think that a community bank would have versions of these that were last updated, like 25 years ago. But no, not North American Banking Company. They have the same online and mobile banking tools as the other big national banks, and they're so easy and also convenient to use. And while I can do a lot of my banking online, there are times when I just need to speak to a person and not a chat bot like some of these other big national banks. And the employees are super friendly and also extremely knowledgeable. They know me and are always ready to help. So your first step is checking them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Once again, it's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. Michael, we wanted to talk about ranked choice voting and how Mayor Carter unfortunately lost out
felt
on that
the shaft.
thing. Yeah.
I am making a prediction right here. With Democrats, socialists starting to steal some of the thunder from Democrats, Democrats are going to try to get rid of ranked choice voting as fast as they possibly can. So what's going to happen is more of these contests are going to be lost in ranked choice voting to not the Democrat, but to the socialist Democrat, right?
Sure.
So Melvin Carter, who did not reach the 50%, right? So he was at 40.83% of the first choice votes. And Mayor She, Her. Yep. Is that where we're going?
Yes.
Mayor She, Her hit 38.28. So they had to go back and they had to find out who took her, Mayor Her, She, Her. My God, that's confusing. As her second choice, and it flipped it around to a 47.76 for her and Carter at 44.99. So he had a 1.5 or almost a 2-point lead. And then they said, oh, but who was your second choice? And her was picked as a second choice more often than Carter was picked as a second choice when people voted for her. mayor, her, she,
because
her.
he didn't get over 50%.
Because
of the
if he would have got, he just got a plurality, not a majority. If he would have gotten a majority, then he would have won. So my little mind says Democrats are going to start losing these races when it's ranked choice voting to the socialists, because people are going to say, oh, the Democrat first, but the socialist is second, right, in the rank.
Right.
And slowly they're going to have more cases like this. I bet you if we go talk to former Mayor Carter today, he's not going to be a big fan of ranked choice voting.
Well, that's what my fear was in the city of Minneapolis, and that Omar Fateh was going to eventually get or was going to win that race because of ranked choice voting. And thank God he did not.
Sure. 8,000 people's ballots in the city of St. Paul, 8,000 of you who voted for Carter first, but put her as your second choice, 8,000 of those were redistributed to her. How is that constitutionally allowed?
Well, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, I just don't get it. How can they say, oh, Mike, you voted for Melvin Carter, but since your second choice was her and Melvin didn't get a full 50%, we're moving 8,000 of them from him to her?
So as optimistic as I want to be about the city of St. Paul and how much you're selling me on being optimistic on the city of St. Paul.
I'm optimistic, yes.
Let's head to New York, shall we?
Concrete jungle.
And I don't really think, and again, this led to a contentious pre-show meeting on the Garage Logic podcast because, again, I don't know anything about him personally. He might be the nicest guy ever, but I don't think enough people are realizing what's happening to now what has become the economic engine of not only this country, but the free world. And I'm talking about the city of New York and how we just elected 24 years after 9/11. We just elected a man who he didn't really campaign about Islam, but he has supported those who have. And I don't think we're seeing what's about to take over in the largest city in the country. And I don't know what thoughts you have about this, but we played a bunch of clips and I don't want to listen to him anymore because everything that comes out of his mouth, to the point where, Mike, he had a video already mass produced and ready to set out after he won on Tuesday night, telling the people that supported him, hey, I'm offering free buses, free healthcare, free everything. And oh, by the way, I need your support so you can donate here.
Yep.
Which was hysterical.
Yeah, think of that. So I take this even weirder. So he was born in Uganda, right, in Kampala, Uganda in 1991. At the age of 7, he came to the United States, and he became a U.S. citizen, a naturalized U.S. citizen in 2018. That's only 7 years ago, Reavers.
Yep.
So he went from Uganda to America and now is the mayor of the most important city in the world. I don't care. People kind of are saying it's the financial capital of the world. It's the most important city in the world, period.
Yep.
Nothing reaches what New York does. Some sources, and this has not been confirmed yet, is that he still owns or has or holds dual citizenship of Uganda and the United States. Once that preclude you from becoming a mayor of the most important city in the world when you're still a resident of another country?
You would think.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
You would think.
Like, can you become a senator if you're partial United States and partial Canadian?
As someone pointed out, this might prevent him from running for president. Yeah. But who knows at this point, right?
Who knows?
Let me play you a clip. I don't know this particular woman's name, but I do recognize her, and she's sitting in her office. Now, I'll just shut the mics off so you can. Okay,
I got it.
So this woman is a luxury real estate agent.
Okay.
In Palm Beach, Florida.
Oh, she's excited.
Today, following Zoran Mamdani winning, her office has exploded from calls from wealthy New Yorkers waiting or wanting properties. My goodness gracious, am I struggling? It's actually happening. The wealthy are fleeing New York City in droves. Let me just play you this clip, ladies and gentlemen, and I think that this pretty much proves our point.
Okay, y'all, I'm not going to lie. I did not think exactly this was going to happen. I thought this guy was going to win in New York City. I thought that our market was going to pick up, but I didn't think it was going to happen like the next morning. I'm like, okay, my sellers settle down. I don't think they're just going to come, racing down and, from New York City. But It's, I don't know. I don't even know what time it is, 3 or 4 o'clock. I've literally been on the phone since 7 a.m., nonstop back-to-back calls. I had showings scheduled for listings that haven't had showings in a month. And yeah, I was wrong because it literally turned on like a light bulb, literally blew off like a firecracker. And the post-socialist New York City political market is here on our shores in Palm Beach. Welcome.
Wow. Think of that. If that's true, that's amazing.
Think about that. And for those that are constantly harping about tax the rich, well, okay, first of all, the top 1% of earners in this country pay the vast majority of taxes in this country. Yes, are some of them finding loopholes and whatnot? Of course they are. But those are the tax laws. That's why.
Don't make loopholes sound bad. That's the tax laws.
Linda Keller, KellerTaxService.com. That's why she's here, right? That's why we love her. But the problem is, what's going to happen when all of a sudden you realize, well, wait a minute, we've lost a vast majority of the top 1%. I'm just talking about the city of New York right now, but Minneapolis might apply too. Who knows? But what happens when you lose that? And then all of a sudden, all of this free agenda needs to be paid for. Well, now the middle class is going to feel that burden.
Yeah, but that free agenda, Reavers, you're making a huge mistake. None of that shit's going to happen. None of that free stuff's going to happen. None of it is. It's to sucker people into voting for him.
Okay.
It's the same thing that some sides do all the time. They make promises that he'll never be able to do.
You mean like when Walz promised $2,000
Walz
checks?
bucks.
Yeah, Walz bucks.
Doesn't happen. Yet he made that promise. Here, I have a link. I'm going to link all the way back to, and I'm forgetting who first said that TikTok needed to be sold because it was a Chinese entity. Was that Trump then going into Biden and Biden couldn't get it done and then it went back to Trump?
I believe it first came under suspicion during the Biden presidency, I believe, but I think Trump is the one that really pushed forward with this needs to be sold to an American holder.
And to be fair, I think so did Biden, I think.
Okay,
Maybe you can look it up as we're talking.
I don't remember the timeline.
But here's
exactly,
the thing that I find interesting about that. Could it be that the communist Chinese, the Chi-Coms, that's what they're communist Chinese, the 11 million, not the good Chinese, the 11 million commie Chinese that are controlling the lives of other billions of people, still run the algorithm on TikTok. And they said, it would be kind of funny to have Zohran K. Mandami become the mayor of the most important town in the world. And let's help him with a little bit of algorithm bump from TikTok. Around 1.3 million people followed Mandami on TikTok. 1.3 million. And over 13.5 million likes on his videos. He posted several hundred, 266 videos that had, each one of them had 10,000 or more likes. 50,000 plus in many estimates. Right? So they were liked. The only way you get that is if you fall right into the algorithm just perfectly.
The sweet spot.
You have to fall in. Or you have the Chi-Coms say, watch this. We're going to make this guy mayor. So when we were doing all that shit about the Russians spending $13 million to get Trump elected way back in 2016, maybe, just maybe, someone turned to a guy at TikTok and said, let's go ahead and let Mandami, his algorithm, really run up.
It's the same.
That's not that far-fetched.
It's the same thing that can be said about, the takeover of a specific region can be handled without one single bullet being fired. Mm-hmm. It's the same type of mentality. And, I have my own personal beliefs on what's really happening to this country. And maybe others have the same feeling as I do. But ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think that there's a much bigger and broader agenda with everything that's been happening, especially recently, whether it's here in the Twin Cities, what just happened in New York on Tuesday, there's a bigger puppet master at play here. And here's the thing. Zohran Mamdani is an actor. Mm-hmm. He's an actor who was hand-selected, who shot to superstardom essentially overnight, who has the charismatic smile,
great looking kid,
the perfect delivery, and the comfortable feeling of I'm here for you. What you don't realize about that is there's an entire machine behind him orchestrating all of this.
The Chinese communist. They're pushing them on TikTok. So I can go back and blame Donald Trump for saying we should shut down TikTok, but then he was afraid of it because he was getting some strength on TikTok. And if we would have shut down TikTok, Mamdani would have not had 1.3 million followers in New York and not had 13.5 million likes on his videos, and he might not be mayor right now. That is a link that's true. That's probably true. That the Chinese communists actually did influence one of our elections, and it was in New York, one of the most important countries, the most important city in the world.
And I think what is also troubling is the fact that this is all being done under the guise of we're here to help. We want to take care of of those that are disadvantaged, of those that have had some misfortune in their life, of those that are needing us to help them. Well, look what's happening right now. The government has been shut down for the longest stretch in the history of this country, and many people who were reliant upon several programs like EBT, SNAP, all of that stuff, well, they're basically out of luck right now. They're SOL, as we like to call it.
They're going to be starving soon, potentially.
And it's unfortunate, but this is what you voted for. So why are you expecting the government at any point to come help you?
So Mamdani had a huge amount of young voters come in, right?
For sure.
I got to ask you, how do you take a 23-year-old kid and teach them the difference between voting for a handout or a hand up? How do you get somebody to realize that when you're listening to messages where people are just going to give you things, that never happens?
Can I answer that on the other
Yes.
side of this? Because I have a very long form answer to that, but I know we got to pause here for a moment. That's Mike Fredolini. My name is Chris Reavers. This is the Weekly Scramble podcast, and we will be right back. Okay, I have your answer.
Yes.
Here's why, and again, I'm trying really hard not to be old man, get off my lawn. Oh, wait, sorry. I got to do this first. I apologize to our friends at We Are Nuts and wearenutsmn.com. If you're in charge of corporate holiday gifting this time of the year, then listen up. Don't be the person that sends out another boring gift. No. Never. You want to hand out locally roasted, family-owned, and dangerously good snacks from wearenutsmn.com. Here's the deal. Their corporate gift tins are fresh, festive, and also unforgettable. Whether you're thanking clients, rewarding employees, or just spreading holiday cheer, then they've got you covered. Here's how easy it is. Just go to wearenutsmn.com. You can download the corporate gifting catalog. It's right there on the homepage. You pick your tins. The cashews, the mixed nuts, the chocolate almonds, the toffee peanuts, the hokey pokey popcorn, even the famous 4. It's so good. And then you send them your gift list, and then they're going to pack, personalize, and ship each tin, even with custom enclosure cards featuring your company's logo and also your corporate message. There's no endless forms. There's no box taping marathons. You just call, email, or visit the site, and they're going to handle the rest. But you don't have much time left, ladies and gentlemen. If you want those things by Christmas, then you got to place your order by November 14th. So gift bold, gift local, and gift nuts at wearenutsmn.com. You can also call them directly at 612-781-6596. All right. Let me catch my breath, and let me answer you this way. What's happened here is, I think, now stay with me.
Okay.
I promise I'm not wearing my tinfoil hat. I promise.
I think it's kind of built into your head.
It's probably implanted at this point. We have created a society with kids who aren't working when they're 14 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old, because they have a comfortable lifestyle. We have created a culture where kids aren't taught to go out and seek opportunity. We are creating a culture where it's okay because we want you to be busy with this sport, that activity, this thing, that thing. Go off to college, get yourself into a rampant amount of debt, but then you got to come back home and eventually have to figure out what your next steps are. So the average 23-year-old in 2025 is not the same 23-year-old that existed in 2001. And I'm only using myself as an example.
Sure.
Right? Where, and even back then, I was in the minority where I worked a full-time job through college. I even had a part-time job through college because I wanted to be done with school and be debt-free. Okay? And now you've already ingrained your brain to be reliant upon the system. And you're easily influenced by things like social media, like influencers on social media and things of that nature. And what's happening? We're electing this guy in New York. We're electing people.
What's your answer? What do you do? How do you get them to understand that a handout is not the same as a hand up?
The other thing I was going to mention is we also are seeing a staggering number of kids being raised in single-family households. That's unfortunate. Sometimes it's necessary. But the problem is what's happening there. The lack of discipline, the lack of creativity, the lack of just basic, everyday conformity and everything that's made this country great based upon the fabric of our society in which the strength of this country was built upon. God, I almost sound like I'm running for office.
You do.
But my point is, those are all of the things that have we're making a stew, right? Those are all of the things that are leading to what happened in New York possible. And there are many, many people who are way smarter than us, who have way more money than we do, that are running the show.
Sure.
And they're preying upon those individuals who have been taught that, trust us, we're here to help.
Sure. Yeah, when you hear the government say, trust us, we're here to help, Ronald Reagan was famous for making that joke, run the other way, you're about to take it. And we can't keep giving handouts, and I think we need to change the way we give hand-ups. Let me give you this brainstorm idea that I had while you were talking, right? Basically, while you were talking, I came up with how to change the world in my brain. I think we should have kids, instead of getting them used to just getting a handout, we say when you work, you get extra pay. You get a 401k that goes into a college fund that the city supplies for you. And the parents so if I'm a parent and I've been on welfare my entire life and I need SNAP and I need this and I haven't had a job for years, what if they went out and got a job for $15 an hour and the government said, oh, for every hour you work, you get an extra $15. That's what you're going to use to buy your food. That's what you're going to use to pay for your housing. That's what you're going to use to pay for your cell phone and your clothes, and get people accustomed to working again.
Right.
Because people have so much pride in work, and you can wean them off if they make $15 an hour and then they get bumped up to $20 an hour. Then you take a little bit out of that pile and you say, oh, you're still going to make $30 an hour with that extra 10, but we're not going to give you 15. I don't know that answer, Reavers, but you need to get people engaged into the art of work.
Because I agree with you so wholeheartedly that what's bothered me the most is, and I made this statement to somebody very recently, and I said, people that are this hue and cry about the price of groceries, well, here's the problem. The reason that eggs cost twice as much as they did 10 years ago isn't because of anything other than 43 million people in this country are getting groceries for free, or at least they were until November 1st. Yeah. And when you create a system in which you're enticing people to not work, to live off of us, to say, we're here to help you, you don't care about them. You're vote buying at that point. Yeah. And that's not going to help this country long term.
It's akin to what slaveholders did to their slaves, not letting them read. By forcing people to be stuck in a economic area, in a zone of economics that doesn't let them get ahead, that to keep them as a vote, that's despicable if someone would do that.
It really is. And
it's sad, and they shouldn't. I wonder when someone's going to wake up and say, I've been voting this way for this side of the aisle for years, and nothing's changed for me. Yet every couple years, they tell me it's going to change.
Here's why I think it might, especially given what we're dealing with right now. Let's talk about the government shutdown. And again, I'm not trying to say that people haven't been affected by this, because I know there's many people out there who are hardworking individuals who have government-related jobs, whether it's the airport, whether whatever the case might be, right?
2 months almost.
Right, but what I'm saying is I know that there are hardworking people out there that this has affected them, so I'm not disparaging them whatsoever. Has this affected you?
Yeah. No. I mean, it doesn't, but I'm not the normal dude, right? I'm not a normal dude.
But it hasn't affected me.
But if I was missing a couple paychecks, I'd be pissed.
Sure.
I know I'm going to get paid.
Right? I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, people have missed a check, but the other thing is, look at who has been affected by this. The people reliant upon the government.
Sure.
Whether it's SNAP, whether it's EBT, whatever. Doesn't that tell you something?
Yeah. Shouldn't that scare the crap out of those people?
This is socialism unfolding in front of your very eyes.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. And to be honest, what's been astounding to me is most of this data that's been uncovered would not have been had the shutdown not taken place.
Look at everything that the government does. Everything. Housing, taxes, everything that the government does. Police, military, everything. Do you want to be solely reliant on the government?
No.
You just don't want to. If you're forced to, you have no choice. It's a social safety net. We got to protect people. We're the richest country in the world by far. We can protect people. But at some point in time, how do we give those people the thought that the hand up is going to get them out of the reliance on the government, where their dad's the government? How do we get them out of that and into the workforce and into, I see what's like. The problem is half the political group doesn't want them to get out of it.
Well, that's the thing, because anyone that wants to sit here and tell you that capitalism is evil and socialism is the way to go, you don't understand basic economics.
Sure.
The free market is what should be dictating everything, right? But everyone wants to say, well, housing prices. Well, okay, you know why housing prices are the way that they are? It's because the free market hasn't come back to earth.
Sure.
That's the reason.
Or people are regulating the free market and stopping it from being truly free.
Well, that's just it. And it's this whole notion that, well, if the government, no, stop. We need the government to be smaller, not bigger.
Smaller. We want government to come back to the towns. And one thing I realized, that I am a socialist drinker, Reavers.
Wait, don't you mean a social drinker?
No, I'm a socialist drinker. I only drink when someone else is paying.
I am 150% going to use that tomorrow.
You can have it. Reavers,
Okay.
You are the best.
Thank you, Michael. Please do us a favor, rate and review the show wherever you happen to be listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast. It helps other people find the show, and it truly does help us out as well. And we appreciate each and every single one of you. His name is Mike Fratelloni. My name is Chris Reavers. This has been the Weekly Scramble podcast. We'll talk to you again next time. Until then, cheers.
I'm Mike King from the podcast Profiling Evil, a place where true crime meets behavioral science. I spent my career investigating serial predators and studying the psychology behind them. Here, we don't just talk about what criminals did, we explore why they do what they do. We expose manipulation and control, look at how offenders select their victims, and uncover the ways that they try to avoid detection. You can find Profiling Evil on your favorite podcast platform.